I'm super excited, man. I'm so glad that there's new Alien Ant Farm music, man. Reasons is out. I absolutely love it, man. It seems like it's a new era for Alien Ant Farm. How are things feeling on your guys' end?
Well, we just try and keep busy. I got, babies to raise, and
Yeah.
I'm always at my desk trying to solve little riddles and, you know, that kind of thing. Just like anyone else is trying to do their uh do their poetry, do their music, and try and make a little money here and there, and hopefully do some good gigging. We've been playing a lot of this last year. We released a record called Mantras that I really dig, and
Hmm.
so that breathed a lot of fresh air into our little brand, and keep busy. We got invited to a lot of the big metal festivals over in Europe, which I was happily surprised. We're not the heaviest band, but we can kind of swim around in those
Yeah.
circles here and there. We started we started off as this weird jazz metal kind of band in the very early inception or of Alien Ant Farm, and then we kind of quickly started trying to write a little more gettable, catchable songs like movies and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
so it's cool that they some metalers hear the a little bit of it in there.
Right. I mean, you guys can hold your own with the heaviest of the heavy. Like you're a band that any
We
metalhead just loves. Like there's nobody
yeah
that doesn't like Alien Ant Farm. Like everyone throws down.
yeah that's yeah you we kind of semi carefully have to choose our set list when we go into some of those dusty bowls. I'm like, I don't want fucking batteries thrown at me, or we can't get too lovey dovey. That being said, we only can get so heavy, and we can only, we kind of kick a few of the mellow ones out and
Mhm.
try and kind of just bring it a little bit harder. But yeah, we've just been well received over there, and it's cool. And not everyone at a metal fest is, I almost feel like we're welcomed because we're not one of those like screaming bands. It's
Mhm.
which I love too, but just to, break it up a little bit. I think it's kind of cool on the promoters' parts to have bands like us entangled in their pits.
Yeah. And I feel like anymore, especially when we're getting into the 2020s and post-COVID, I feel like it's a lot fans are also a lot more open-minded and a lot more accepting of different, I don't want to say subgenres, but different styles of rock and metal now, whereas maybe 10, 15 years ago it was very, I don't know, kind of clicky and like, oh, they're not heavy enough or they don't fit in here. And now it's like you see bands that would have been on Warp Tour playing Sonic Temple and Vakken and Incarceration, Louder Than Live. And it's a good just smorgasbord of rock and metal. And every band is welcome as long as it's good rock and metal music. And I feel like that's really gotten more press, more evident in like the last 5 to 10 years, maybe, you know?
Yeah, and probably I feel like maybe a lot of the band members in some of the heavier bands made it okay to like different stuff, or from
Mhm.
I don't know. I just see those metalers always seem like intimidating dudes, and then they're all like vegan and cat owners, and it's like
Right.
a whole they're all pussy cats, man, which is kind of cool. Oh, these guys love Sade too. That's dope.
Right. I remember what Rock on the Range 2013, the year that had rejoined Korn. I went into the Korn's dressing room to do an interview with Fieldy, and like the most metal thing there was a tattoo artist. Other than that, they had like a free like a buffet of like vegetables and fruits, and I'm like, this is the weirdest. I did not expect it to be like this, but it's.
Corn had like a little assortment of baby corn around all over the bus.
Yes, but yeah, I mean it's a new it's just it's a fun time to be a fan of rock and metal music, man. And Judge and Jury has really kind of just they've really kind of they're really catching fire. They're really emerging as one of the honestly one of the top labels in the genre right now. The bands that they are signing right now is really fun to watch. You guys are one of them. What has it been like working with them, signing with them, just in general? You got Howard and Neil and Joe. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
I
really,
just
really cool. What?
yeah,
Yeah,
they're pretty hands on, you know. I
Mhm.
just got off the phone with Howard like
Nice.
15 minutes ago, and it's weird to have a rapport with the guy, you know,
Hmm.
knowing who he is, and we've all respected Neil as well. You know, just trying to go do some rewrites, and you know, he's listening a lot and just making suggestions, chiming in. I have to kind of like figure out, you know, maybe not take like offense is too strong a word, but when comes back at me like, hey, are you down to like rewrite this?
Hmm.
I'm only trying to unturn the stones to make, you know, the maybe make something like the biggest possible thing it can be. I think sometimes I'm in a producer's eyes maybe like a little too cryptic, or the point has not been made, I guess,
Maybe
you
a
know.
little overprotective sometimes of
Or
your art,
yeah,
maybe.
I don't know that I'm that. I just know that when I write, it's not for a hit all the time. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? It's just kind
Sure.
of what
Yeah.
I'm feeling,
You're
and
writing for you.
yeah,
You're
you
writing
know,
for you. It's your art.
I don't know that I've ever like worked on a hit. You know what I mean? So this is kind of new to me in a sense. The only time I feel like I ever worked on a hit was when we were doing movies all those years ago, and it actually kind of became a hit. Maybe I should work on hits more, but in my you know enjoyment of this all is like sitting at that desk and kind of throwing down what is coming out of here, and it's not always like, you know, the catchy gettable thing. So I'm kind of working on that and trying to feel my way around how Howard does things and how everybody does things. You know, this is like a
Mhm.
cool um, mixing pot where we're just trying to throw in the ingredients in this and see what we can come up with and make it cool. We can always do Ant Farm by itself anytime we want in another
Mhm.
chapter, but right now, like we're here and trying to, I'm trying to say yes to everything right now, and feel how that feels or how that works. You know,
Mhm.
times past I would have probably objected to um, peeling things apart and retrying and, you know, trying to work it. You know, and so
Mhm.
it's new and fresh, and I'm just doing that right now.
Does it make it easier to be receptive to those suggestions when it's somebody like Howard with his resume telling you like or giving those ideas and hey, what about this? Like with everything he's done, does it make it easier to be like, okay, so yeah,
Probably.
let's
No, that's a good question, honestly. I never really thought about it that way. Only trying to figure out in my head, it
Mhm.
shouldn't be easier no matter who it is. It should be like my mentality should be like,
Sure.
okay, let's work, you know? But yeah, I would say that it probably is because yeah,
Mhm.
you know, there's a respect there, and yeah, that's a good question. I think it's a little bit of that and a little bit of me trying to just say, hey, um, you're not right all the time, and
Right.
you're not wrong either, but
Mhm.
let's like kind of shift the Rubik's cube a couple more times, you know what I mean, and
Sure.
solve there's a couple ways to solve this riddle. um you know, maybe it's like lyrically or cadence wise they may coming a little too prog or something, and we need to like get to the meat and potatoes of something, and I'm down and willing to try it, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, a Mantra was received really well when that record released. Like people absolutely loved that record. I heard everything I read about it was really good. I loved it. It was a really really well received, really good album.
Yeah,
Coming
it's polished. It's my favorite.
yeah,
That's my favorite Ant Farm record right
really.
now. Right now, I
Okay.
would say, yeah. Just,
Right,
you know,
sure.
it was
Okay.
coming off of not being, uh, you know, friendly with each other, and me getting sober. There's a lot
Mhm.
tied to why it's my favorite. Besides, I think it's a great record too, but you know, maybe I shouldn't tie the emotions to it, but I do. So I really love that record, and I love the people that were involved with it, and it was like it's a cool, I also tie like times in your life to certain records, and
Yeah.
so I appreciate mantras a lot, and it was a big deal for me, doing my vocals, a lot of them just by myself, and doing my own edits and stuff was something
Sure.
that is my most comfortable areas to kind of be in my desk at home, and a lot of times being uncomfortable is good too. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's why you try different things.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned like times and eras of your life, times in your life being tied to certain records. Like there's records for certain artists that are my favorite record that are maybe not their strongest or the best or their most popular, but because of where I was at when that came out, it'll always be my favorite record for that band
Yeah,
at that, just no way to top it just because
absolutely.
where I was and everything in life.
Yeah, yeah. I've had terrible shows in my head, and then someone will come up and be like, "Dude, this is the greatest night of my life," or "This I had such a good
Mhm.
time," and like, wow, chill out, dude. This isn't about you all the time. That people are receiving some of this in
Mhm.
really positive ways when maybe you're not feeling so positive. So it's
Yeah.
okay to like have that too. And like you said, yeah, some people's, what they think that might not be their best work. It's like it's from a band that you dig, and there's a time in your
Mhm.
life. It's all so personal. Music has this way of there's an interpretation there that certain art forms don't have. When you just see a movie, I feel like everything's just showing you what it is. There is a little bit of interpretation there, but music, I feel, has a lot um, more room for a listener to take it how
Interpret
they want to take it.
interpretation. Yes. Yeah.
And I
100%.
love
Like,
that.
yeah.
I love that.
Mhm. Yeah, there's some bands I've interviewed that are like, well, what do you think the song is about? I tell them, they're like, not even close, but that's a great interpretation of where. I interviewed Ryland from Attack Attack, and I was like, yeah, this one song, I feel like it's about this. He's like, yeah, it's actually about running from a serial killer in the middle of the night. I'm like, I was way off, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, who relates to that? It's like it's kind of cool that it's such a weird concept, and then but there's always you can tie that to love. You can tie that to the
Yes.
death of a father or something that has nothing to do with it. But there's
Yeah.
certain little things left open, and maybe that's why I will typically write a little more cryptic, or and it's like
Hmm.
this makes no sense, but in a weird way it makes all the sense in the world,
Yeah.
if you're willing to feel it.
Yeah. Then you got Reasons, man, the new single. And I've listened to that thing 5 times today alone. I fucking love it, man. It's so good.
Oh, cool.
And just musically, lyrically, man, it's so catchy. But it's also got a really positive meaning behind it too. Reading up on the background of it a little bit, I love where what
uh
I've read you talking about. Or at least it seems
yeah,
like
well,
it's
so
positive.
it's someone can
People can change.
people
You
can
know.
like 180 it, you know what I mean? And
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, again, I'm like 4.5 years sober now, and I was the last person I thought could 180 or do significant changes. It's hard to move uh, a stubborn person, but
Yeah.
changes are super important, super possible, and consistency is cool, and yeah, all that stuff. That song has like evokes some of that. Again, if you wanted to, the song could be just about like a piece of shit liar, or or it could be like this guy's trying to actually do some good, make amends. You're young, you fuck up, and
Mhm.
try and do right by your people.
Yeah. And and it's also personal growth too. Like if you're the same person, I'm a big wrestling fan. When Triple H has said after CM Punk came back, if you're the same person you were 15 years ago or 10 years ago, then you've messed up. You should not be the same person you were, at least in some way. There should be some sort of change,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, it can be embarrassing in weird ways if you just
Mhm.
stay. That being said, if you have like healthy habits, it's like,
Well,
dude,
yeah.
maybe staying in consistency for 10, 15 years could be an amazing
True.
thing, but
Yeah.
I think we all get where he's going with that, and it's totally,
Mhm.
completely 100% true.
Yeah. How indicative of the new record that's coming out is Reasons? Is it similar to what else is coming, or is it one of those records where each track has, kind of a different feel, its own identity,
Yeah,
or is it,
it's very different. It's a lot
okay,
heavier. It's a lot heavier. Maybe more techy. Than Reasons is like the more obvious kind of hit
sure.
feeling song.
Yeah,
There's a lot more tricks and kick flips and twists and turns, traditional Ant Farm like
sure.
coming. The guys are players, so we're gonna flex where we kind of feel it's necessary. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Sometimes a
Yeah.
song like Reasons is all about kind of just that. I mean, it's like a vocal driven song to
Mhm.
where almost feel like the guys in a good way are staying out of the way of that hook. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
then there's a
Yeah.
more typical Ant Farm style is sometimes like the drum fill is the hook, and that's
Hmm.
where we that's maybe where we don't write the hits. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
we're players and we like to double dutch. You know what I mean? We like to go in and start these jump ropes and see where we can like stay out of the way of the laser beams kind of thing, and so there's a lot there's a like you said earlier, there's a lot of different vibes in this record for sure.
Yeah. Reasons seems like it's perfect for radio. If that song doesn't blow up on Octane, I'll be fucking shocked because it's perfect for, especially with the festivals you have coming up. I can see that being a hit on the festival circuit, great live. You want to fucking move around and just, throw down. It's
Yeah,
it's it's fucking fun.
we had a more when we did the demo for it, we had a more like Weezer kind of, the song had like more of a Weezer
Hmm.
kind of feel, and then that kind of
Okay.
got stripped away and it's just like straightforward banger.
Mhm.
um maybe someday we'll release the weird Weezer version of the song.
I would love to hear that. That sounds
But
awesome.
yeah, it's tricky and fun. But yeah, so we're just kind of going with it right now, and seeing if we can have a fruitful adventure with judge and jury. Um,
Hmm.
and this is where we're at in this season. It's weird. It's like
Yeah.
feel like uh, bands are like sport teams or something. Like, what are we gonna do this season, kind of thing,
Yeah.
or and sometimes you sit it out and lick your wounds, and other times we're like we try and keep our calendar fairly full. The
Hmm.
last couple of years, we've been last 2 years we've been playing a lot of shows, and we're gearing up here to get back on the road, and that's where it's at. The older I get, the I feel like I dig my heels in because I love just being at home with my kids, and
Yeah.
but once a good show is a rad show, and all of a sudden you're all wrapped up in it. It's like the travel is the crazy part for me of just it's so amazing. It amazes me every time how tiring doing nothing can be when you're just
Yes.
getting on a plane. I'm like, I didn't do anything today, but I'm like drained, bro, and then 49
Yes.
limp into my hotel room. I'm like, well, you better get yourself in check, bro. You haven't done anything and you're all whooped.
Right. I
Yeah.
feel you on that. That's why I stay so busy.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I gotta ask, man, 25 years of anthology, dude. Does it feel like it's been 25 years? And what do you feel when you look back on that era of Alien Ant Farm, or do you look back on
Well, I
that
look
era?
back. Yeah, I look back in the sense of more recently because we are releasing it on vinyl for the first time, the anthology record, and so we've been, well, Mike, our drummer, he's got a lot of material. Kind of has been the hub of some important odds and ends, basically. Demos and stuff like that. So we're trying to figure out what we want to add to the record, some oddities and stuff. So
Mhm.
we have some weird demos of some of the songs before they became like the songs they are, and they're actually really interesting because they are a little different, different lyrics. We have some production time we did with a guy named Scotch Ralston who did like 311 and stuff. So
Nice.
um, we there's a song we have called Flesh and Bone that's like totally different with Scotch, and it's just a cool take on a great song. And so yeah, we're more recently, I've been delving into like what you were just questioning about,
Mhm.
looking back on that time. Obviously years have gone by where I didn't listen to Anthology at all. I mean, we
Sure.
still played them live, but it's weird when I
Mhm.
listen back, I go, oh, I've been like doing that wrong for the last 6 years, or not wrong, but like,
Different.
it's
Yeah.
weird how when you play telephone or something and all of a sudden it's like way
Yes.
different. I'm like, whoa, dude, I'm singing that like my own fantasized way for I'm like
Right.
go back and listen, go, oh, okay, cool, this is way simpler and to the point and whatever. But yeah, so it's been fun to dig through some video footage and random oddities to prepare
Hmm.
to put that vinyl out.
Right. It was such a fun time in rock and metal, man. Like looking back at like what was popular in 2001, the songs that came out in that time it's unreal to look back
Hmm.
and think about like who was coming up and who was blowing up, and you guys were right in that mix, man. What was that time like for you guys? Because it was rock and metal was so huge, dude. I mean, the genre was
Hmm.
on
Hmm.
top, man. Looking
Yeah,
back, watching wrestling, man, it's there.
yeah, I remember seeing like rando signs up at WWE stuff where it'd be like
Yes.
Alien Ant Farm. I like my own band stuff like on TV. I was like, whoa, like Dryden for president and weird stuff on
Yes.
wrestling. Uh, yeah, that was a trip. I think partly too. I think we did. The reason why. Uh, the reason why there's actually we're in a wrestling rink in the Smooth Criminal video. Do you know?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was kind of
Yeah.
tied to there was a show on MTV called Tough Enough, and it
Yes.
was,
Yeah.
do you remember that? It
Oh,
was kind of
yeah.
like, yeah, so our
Yeah.
song was a little bit tied to that. And I think they were trying to in some way like make the song blow up through that show as well. And then
Okay.
nobody knew how massive like Smooth Criminal just kind of was like almost, I feel like
Was a monster.
it was bigger than the show, you know what I mean? So it's
Hmm.
funny like to feel like we were trying to tie it into to that show. Anyways, um yeah, it's weird how that there's a little tie in there with
Yeah.
wrestling.
But it was just, it seems like back then in the early 2000s with rock bands, like you guys, it was almost like the Beatles again in so many ways. Like you just, everywhere you went, would hear those songs, and everywhere you went, you would
Yeah.
hear Smooth Criminal like
Y-
40 times a day on radio. It was unreal. And it was
a
also
little,
such a
yeah.
fun time just in society, too. It's such a simpler time in so many ways.
Yeah, of course, in the rock genre is still like so alive and rad right now, but it's also so
Yeah.
fragmented from social media and stuff. There's so many
Mhm.
avenues, again, like you said, simpler times back then was almost like radio's feeding you, MTV's feeding you, um, and obviously the ones that knew could there obviously there was internet back then, but it just wasn't
Right. Yeah.
so fragmented with
Hmm.
every single platform that's available now. It's like
Right.
who knows where to find it, but obviously the raddest bands in the world exist right now. It's just like where you got to like dig and find it. Yeah, it was a simpler time for sure. And maybe for
Hmm.
hearing a Smooth Criminal 40 times probably made us more hated than loved, you know what I mean?
Not for me, man. I just so just it was, as a fan, it was just such a fun time, man.
Yeah,
Just it was,
absolutely.
and also all the genres, whether it's rock, pop, hip hop, like they all were together in some
Hmm.
ways. It wasn't like now where you turn on like, hot radio and it's only pop and that's it. Like you would hear like Alien Ant Farm and 3 Days Grace and then Britney Spears and all of these, all in the same place, and it
Hmm.
wasn't as separated like it is now. And it was
Hmm.
musically, it was a really, really cool time to be alive. And I kind of wish that my kids could experience that time now because they'll never experience music the way that we did.
Yeah, you're right. Like a TRL would be like you got like corn on there, and all of a sudden it's like who knows? You'd get like corn, and then it would be like De La Soul, or it's just
Yeah.
like raddest mashup, and be like,
Hmm.
uh, you don't see it so often anymore.
Right. Yeah. Well, TRL, Carson Daly would be like, and on today we've got Corn and Backstreet Boys. And I'm like, what? Like people would
Dude,
freak out now, man.
dude, we hosted me and my drummer Mike. We hosted TRL one day with freaking Puff Daddy, dude. Like, oh my
That's
god.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
But
Man,
like I had no idea
right.
how I had no idea how shitty his music actually was back then.
Nobody did. When you hear Missing You or Bad Boy for Life, like it's those songs still throw down. Like, come on, like they're still good songs. So you
Yeah.
separate the person from the art sometimes. But man, in 2026, new music coming out, man. When you look at the record, I assume it's either done or close to done. When you look at what's coming out, man, how does it make you feel when you hear this thing back and look at what this record is that's coming?
You know, we're probably like 6 songs in right now, so it's
Okay.
not finished. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool. It's raw, and there's some super like danky, nasty, rude sounding riffs. So I'm like in my
Nice.
car, and like it's when you're that close, you're like, is this cool? Is this cool? And then take a
Right.
little breath, and then I put it in like a system that my car actually has, and I'm like, ooh, this is sounding like very like ferocious. So it's good,
Nice.
and have people like Mike Plotnikoff engineering, who's done like crazy, unimaginable records from Aerosmith to Van Halen types. Anyways, it's like there's
Sure.
there's there's some bitchin' people behind the wheel of some of this Ant Farm stuff. It's not just Ant Farm, so we give credit to everyone that's trying to help us out.
Do you ever sit back and just think about the people you're able to work with? Like the names, like the resume of the people you just read off, or do you ever sit back and be
Yeah.
like, holy shit, what's like, it's still, is it still fun? Is it still cool? Do you ever sit back and
Yeah,
think about that?
it is. I should think about it more, and give my love and respect at all times, and then find myself busy trying to rework something, or
Right.
second guess myself all the time. And um, yeah, it's weird. It can be a weird little daunting task when you feel like maybe your stuff isn't good enough. Is this these people have worked with better artists? There's a lot of that insecurity going on with me. And again, that's maybe just something that I have to deal with on my own. And do you deserve to be here? There's a lot of stuff like that that I've dealt with my entire like existence with music. You know what I mean? I came from it's kind of a singer songwriter guy who joined a really manic jazzy metal band and didn't know where I fit in quite there with some really rad musicians. And so I'm
Mhm.
still trying to figure that out. And every time we finish a song, I feel like I kind of start from zero all over again. I feel like I lose my grip as to how
Hmm.
this is done. There's no formula per se. And so I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, and then until I know exactly what I'm doing. And it's kind of just starting again and again and doing this a bunch of times, and um, finding joy in at my desk, and that's where I like to be. I like to be at my desk and trying to solve the riddles that my homies throw at me.
Is it harder to write music after 25 plus years, 26 years? Is it the same process for you? Does it get easier after all these years? Is it still harder? What is writing like for you now compared
Yeah,
to how it used to
yeah. I
be?
don't know. You got nothing until you have something, you know. So yeah, sometimes it's like the music will kind of make me just write something super dope and quick in an hour, and sometimes it takes a couple of weeks of me just throwing a certain riff on loop. It's not to say the riff isn't good. I just don't hear me on it or what would I do, and there's a lot of me just kind of hiking up my hill every day and throwing these on and okay, let's like maybe a new perspective here and trying to what's going on with this riff? Is this compelling? And yeah, so I don't know that it's any harder or any easier. Um, you just try, you know. I don't. I'm
Sure.
figuring it out in real time, man. I'll be
Right.
doing it tonight, you know.
Nice. Um, festivals, man. Tour dates are coming up. Festivals. I think you guys are playing Incarceration this year. Either Incarceration.
You
Well,
know,
I think
there's a bunch, so I don't want to say yes or no to any of them because I
it's hard
haven't
to
looked
keep
at
them
our tour
straight.
grid. Well, our tour grid gets like refreshed from our manager every like 3 or 4 days, so I
Oh,
haven't
okay.
I haven't I don't want to confirm which ones. I think
Sure, sure.
Louder Than Life is
Mm-hmm.
happening in
Yep.
Vegas. I think pretty soon. I
Louisville.
know that we're on. Or okay, but
Yeah.
is there?
There's
Anyways,
some coming up in Vegas. Yeah. Dude,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
so fucking many festivals now
There's
just in
so
the
many
States.
that
Oh
yeah,
my
I'm I was like,
God.
okay, yeah. So I don't want to chime in and then we're
Right.
not or we are. So
But when it comes to those, man, I mean, I feel like you guys are tailor made for those stages, man. People come ready to just rock the fuck out, man. And I haven't seen you guys in a minute, but I'll be seeing you at some of these festivals coming up, man.
yeah,
When it comes to those shows, those are a whole nother animal, man. How pumped are you guys to get on some of those stages this year and
yeah.
just
It's cool.
the
Yeah,
crowds, man.
yeah. It's a different thing, you know. Daytime shows outside they go off. It's a different vibe. Sometimes I enjoy the hell out of them. Sometimes I prefer a dark night
Yeah.
venue, even small and tight. The sound is a little
Clubs are
more
fun.
controlled.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chaos in the festival thing, or
Yeah.
it's almost like a throw and go. You got to get your gear up
Yes.
all fast and get the hell off, and so you're
Short
almost like
set.
what the hell, like what just happened,
Yeah.
kind of vibe, you know. So and
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun too, but it's sometimes it's like a little too. It's chaotic for me.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a wimp, but
No, man.
I'm
Sometimes, I
slow
mean,
down, a little bit, everybody. And
well, it's like the
some of those crew guys at the festivals are a little more rock star than the bands, trying to. But
well, like
in their defense, they got long ass days of freaking throwing gear around, man. I don't blame them for being freaking weirdos either.
yeah, but the set could be so short sometimes that depending on where you're at on the bill, like sometimes the stress is more work than like the actual performance is sometimes. Just like
Oh
you're
yeah,
stressing
dude.
me
You
out
think
this much for a 25-minute set. Calm the fuck down,
yeah.
guys. You know?
And a neurotic fool like me will think about it for 3 days, or you know what I mean. And I'm like, wait, okay, why were you so tight about this? It's all
Yeah.
good, right? Everyone wants to have fun, have a good time, and I'm over here beating my head up. So yeah, it's
Mhm.
calm down, throw the party. You're an MC. For me, it's not about me. It's like trying to
Right.
service a crowd and be a cool, positive part of their day and move along. It's cool. I'm into
Mhm.
it.
Well, it looks like I mean, aside from that tour dates and everything, man, it looks like it's going to be a busy year for you guys for sure. But with record release, tour dates, man, what does this year look like for you personally going into all of this, man? I feel like, still writing the record, but like a lot of it is kind of like a calm before the storm in some ways, I feel like, where it's like, we're writing,
You
but then
know,
holy
yeah, we I feel we're seasoned from the last 2 years. Again, we might be a little more in the light of the public eye, about to be maybe. So,
sure.
but I'm glad that I feel like we're fairly prepped for the work ahead and the travel and the good times. I try not to like psych myself out or in to anything. Maybe just like, again, like you said, calm before the storm. I want to be like calm during it too. And
Right.
get to where I need to be and do my vocal warm ups and throw it down, and hopefully it's good. And if it's not good, then hopefully the next one's good. That's
Right.
okay too. But we do
Right.
well.
Well, I'm looking forward to all of it, man. If the record is anything like Reese's, dude, I can't fucking wait to hear the rest of this thing, man. Because I love the single. I want more. Even though the single just came out, I need more music, man. We
All
cannot wait to
right,
hear the
cool,
rest of
man.
it, dude. I'm
I
pumped.
appreciate that, dude.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for taking time today. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you for continuing to do what you do after all these years and continue to put out good
yeah,
quality fucking music, man, because I really
yeah.
appreciate
Well,
it.
thank
Fans love
you,
it, man.
thank you for your time and doing this, bro.
Of
It's
course.
a collaborative effort and
Yeah.
help spreading the word out for Amp Farm, and
Yes,
hopefully we can
sir.
help you get some views. And I appreciate your time just as much as you mine.
For sure, man. Awesome. We'll see you at one of the festivals, tour dates somewhere down the road this year, man, I'm sure. Have a great afternoon.
If you're there backstage anywhere, please come say hi, give a hug. All right.
Absolutely, man. We'll hook up at one of the dates.